Episode 2, Ty Leslie of Downhearted. Here we go. First question here. Tell us how you got in the band. It's not really a question. Just tell us how you got in Downhearted.
Just from going to shows so much and like getting to know bands' music, going up on stage doing guest spots for bands that I really liked. Tyler, the drummer, took a real big interest in that after having some problems with their old vocalist. He contacted me and asked me to come out and do some tryouts, and after months trying out, we just stuck with me, and now we're here.
So from a guest spot to being the vocalist now, it's like everybody's dream.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Do you remember what song it was?
I don't remember what song it was that I went up for, but
Were you nervous about it?
just a little bit. Just being like, I really like these guys. They're really cool. Like, they're my friends. I don't want to disappoint them, you know.
Right.
And then
I was talking to Deanna and Alex earlier, and I said one of the most embarrassing moments in show history for me, it was I the Breather's farewell tour, and the guy's like holding my head, and he's got the mic pointed at me, and it's the first time I ever seen him in concert or listening to the music, and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like that, it's just like that'd be the worst thing, or just to forget the lyrics in general. So that's crazy that you got a guest spot to being their vocalist. So you went through tryouts. You said how long?
Did tryouts for 7 or 8 months.
7 or 8 months.
I just kind of filled in for them while they were doing tryouts with other people still. Just kind of put in my best effort.
You were their booty call.
Yep. They were like, hey, we need somebody to kind of fill in the spot, and you seem like a pretty good vocalist from what we've seen, so.
Yeah, what I've noticed is, I mean, obviously I've been listening to Downhearted, obviously, since you joined. I knew of them, but now that you joined, I'm like, okay, now I'm extra motivated because that's my friend that's fronting a band. He kind of took over. It's his own thing now. So when I seen that, I started, I guess, listening to their old CD. And your guys' vocal styles are kind of similar. It's not like going from somebody like, let's just say, Phil Bozeman, who's got super lows and super highs, and then your type of vocals. Like, that would have been an odd transition. So it's kind of cool that you got fit in with a band that's similar to how, I guess, you operate.
Yep.
You agree?
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, I didn't have to change a whole bunch to fit their style, so.
You're just like, oh, yeah, I've been screaming this way for, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah, it's like,
take it or leave it.
yeah, pretty much.
That's funny. And the way I would say most vocalists get started, they probably listen to a band when they first started listening to music, I guess. So what was like your first band that you really got into?
Let's see. When I first started listening to music, I started out with like a bunch of old school metal. So like a lot of Metallica, Pantera, Megadeth, stuff like that. And then it progressed into a lot heavier stuff. Like when John for a Cowboy started coming out with stuff, I was like, wow, this is a different genre of music that I enjoyed a lot. And like Suicide Silence, like I started listening to stuff like that, and just like listening to stuff heavy like that kind of shaped my voice. But then listening to other bands in different genres like Coheed and Cambria, like softer music, that also shaped my voice into what it is now.
Sure. What was I going to say here? Yeah, John for a Cowboy. The first time I ever heard of John for a Cowboy, when it had Rock Band. And you could get expansion packs, right?
Yep.
So my brother downloaded it, and I'm like, you used to play like Rolling Stones and all that shit. And then he goes, check this song out. And it's just like, at that time I was playing Rock Band drums. Play this one, an expert. And you just see like, red, blue, and it's just absolutely wild trying to keep up with John for a Cowboy. And that was one of the first times I'd, I guess, experienced that type of music. But I was talking to Alex about this. We both kind of started with like Linkin Park, Avenged Sevenfold. That's kind of like the staple of everybody's childhood. And then moving on, I guess from that, you just, I don't know if it's the same for you. I used to one-up my brother. So he'd find a band, I'd find a band. He'd find a band. But you don't have any siblings, do you?
I have siblings. I have an older brother and 2 younger brothers, and then I have 2 older sisters. But none of them share the same music style that I do.
Gotcha.
They all have their own style of music.
So, how did you get into this type of music?
I just kind of stumbled upon it myself, you know. I was just
organically
checking out music styles, and I would listen to the radio, and I'd pick out heavier songs that I liked off the radio, and then
right.
just kind of search on the
Well, I think
internet from
89.7 used to do it. They had, like, they played at 11 o'clock. They play a local artist. And they still do that, don't they?
Yep, they still do.
They were doing that with Forest Band. Why can't I think of the name of Forest Band?
Deathwish.
Deathwish, there you go.
Yep.
I remember seeing that a couple years ago when they first got going, and I'm like, shit, still doing the thing.
Yep.
Yeah, have you guys been on there?
I think they were on there with the previous vocalist.
Gotcha.
Maybe once or twice. But, you know, it's maybe something we can work towards. Get on the radio a little bit more.
Get on the radio? That'd be nuts. But I almost think that radio's not necessarily dying, but it's just like on its way out. People listen to it for radio music, not new music, you know?
Yep.
I mean, you still hear like Breaking Benjamin, you still hear like 3 Days Grace.
Yep.
Those,
It's like a lot of mainstream.
yeah, mainstream. And it sucks that they put this new type of music and people that are local to our scene, they kind of put them in the back seat and say, hey, if you want to listen to the stuff on the radio, you find them at 11 o'clock.
Yep.
And it sucks. So I think that's kind of the power of social media now. I mean, I have tons of musicians, and luckily, let's just say, for example, your new song, Ender, you guys post it, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking hyped. It's the first song with Ty on it. I'm like, I'm going to listen to it. And then you have the community sharing it.
Yep.
And then the people who may not know who you are seeing the friends of theirs sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. And it's the way it works. And I think radio is just, unless you're going to be that type of band and sell out, not saying, Bring Me the Horizon, I don't care if you think I'm wrong or not, sold out.
Yeah, they did sell out. They
Sold
pretty
out.
hard, in my opinion.
How do you go from like the heaviest music at the time, because when they first started, what was it, like 2006, 2007, when they were giant,
Yep.
singing that stuff, and then they go to playing pop
Yeah.
music? But don't get me wrong, they're the only band that I know of that has went from that extreme to the complete opposite extreme.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I guess if you're doing it for money, it makes sense. And it may be a genuine interest as far as what they want to do, and maybe they didn't want to play that music anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just sad because Bring Me the Horizon, back in the day,
Yeah, they were good. They had
Wrote-
some good stuff back in the day.
wrote some jams.
Yeah.
So good. So what's your new song? Or the newest one coming out? It's coming out.
Newest one comes out tomorrow.
Boom.
It's called Fed Up.
Okay.
Uh,
Delve deep into it. Tell us about it.
It's basically just about like sticking up for yourself, not being afraid of other people, just kind of sticking up for yourself, you know.
A question I had, or I guess I had written down, was when you are placed into a new band, or when you go into a new band, you have to learn all their lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, because you don't have any new written material. You had tried out for 6, 7, 8 months or so. How long do you think it took you to actually memorize all the lyrics?
So when I joined, when I like had to memorize all the lyrics, it took me probably a good month and a half.
Yeah.
To just get everything down to where I knew it like by heart.
Gotcha.
So,
She said your pen clicking is loud.
um,
No big deal. But yeah, doing that for a month and a half. Is that like, is there an easy way to learn it? Do you go on walks and try to learn it, or just listen in the car?
just listening to it in the car and like just practicing along with it really helped out a lot.
Gotcha. Because like comedians, what they'll do to work out bits is they'll either just like sit in like one of those pods and just let their mind wander, or what I hear a lot of the times is they'll go on walks and the ideas will come to them. They'll have a tape recorder and just be like, "This is my bit idea." So I'm wondering if the same is kind of similar for you.
Nope. Just kind of listened to music in the car and just jammed along with it. That's how
Just
I
happened to
did
be a
it.
band you like too.
Yeah.
So the first time you played with Downhearted was when?
It was the first show.
Yeah.
It was Warzone.
Oh, it was Warzone.
Yep, Warzone at the waiting room.
I can tell you I was nervous.
Really?
I was nervous for you. Yeah, I was in the crowd. I'm like, oh, shit, this is Ty's first show. I remember now that this is your first show, and I just happened to have the night off, and I'm like, shit, Ty's playing. So I can remember like being like, good luck to you
Yeah.
beforehand, and now I go back and watch that video. I'll watch it. I'd probably say once a week or so, just to I guess reminisce. And you guys killed it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Thank you.
You think it's gonna get better?
Yeah, that show, it's a pretty rough show.
Really?
Like, it was first shows I had the first like the pre-show jitters going on.
Yeah.
I was pretty nervous because decent amount of people there. I knew pretty much everybody that was there. But since that show, I've improved greatly.
Yeah, because the jitters beforehand, you're like, oh, I only got 150 people who know that I'm about to perform.
Yep.
And they know that I joined this band and they have high expectations. Whereas if you were to go to, let's just say, like, I keep using Montana because I was talking to Alex about this, but let's say you go to Montana and they don't know that you're a new vocalist and you're just like, well, I know some of them. I know some of the lyrics and I don't, but I'm going to go with it.
Yep.
Whole different story.
Yeah, it's your confidence levels here rather than being at home.
So are you almost happy that you practiced with a big show like that, or would you have rather done like a little 30-person show?
You know, playing a big show like that for my first show really helped out because now, like, when I play bigger shows, I'm like, all right, cool, I've already played a bigger show.
Right.
It's not going to affect the way that my performance is now.
Right. It's almost like they kicked you off the deep
Yep.
end. They said, here you go. And
Yep.
it's a sink or swim situation. And that's nuts that you were able to make it work,
Yep.
especially for your first show ever. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about beforehand, you'd never been in a band.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
So-
I'll just see what I can do here, and then taking over the world now.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Hey, I do have another question for you. So as far as music videos go, do you guys sit down as a band and decide, hey, now it's time? And when you do decide that it's time for a music video, how do you come about a concept? Because Ender is more or less a live, it's like a live show.
Yep.
Is the next one, the one you just told me about, is that one a live show as well?
No, the Fed Up is not a live video shoot. We shot that in a room. All of us did individual takes together, and then we did a couple of band shots.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty cool video.
Who recorded?
Tyler's wife, Kat Lewis.
Gotcha. I really appreciate his drumming.
Yeah.
Love it. And
Yep.
the last song that you guys came out with, I keep brain farting, freaking Ender. The way you transition between, I don't know, it's just you guys transition into so much different stuff. You have a two-step, you have a breakdown, you have a flowy chorus part, and then it's just like, it just all hits you.
Yeah.
You guys are all over the place, but at the same time, it still makes sense.
Yep.
So Fed Up is it going to be more aggression, you think? More drive?
Fed Up's got a lot of drive, a lot of aggression to it. It's got a lot of groovy parts. And at the end, it's got a really really good two-step part.
Okay.
So.
I love two-step parts.
Yeah.
Or we get the chuggy little two-step part.
It's like a chuggy two-step part. It's really cool.
It's the best. And another thing that you see with the type of bands, especially that you listen to, is rather than playing China, it's those ride breakdowns.
Yep.
Just ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
And you just know, like, doom's about to happen. You know somebody's about to get fucked up.
Yep. We don't have a whole lot. Like, we have a couple of those in the EP coming out next week, but we have a lot of good parts in there that I think people like a lot.
Yeah. And the cool thing about the cool thing about the Omaha scene is when it comes to heavier music, that's when they get after it.
Yep.
Whereas, no offense to Alex's band, like Your Last Chance, Omaha's not necessarily a jumpy, like a get on your feet and bounce, or
Yeah.
like a circle pit band. We're more of like a breakdown and throw down community.
Yeah.
So that's where your guys' band fits in. And no offense to Ironsides, but since Ironsides is kind of out, here comes the new Papas.
Yeah.
Downhearted, Death Wish, both
Yep.
kind of there, you know.
Right now,
Well, I guess in that genre, and then you have like Your Last Chance, who's
Yep.
separate from you guys because they obviously write different types of music. But
yep. I can agree with that.
I love both the guys. Or I love all you guys' music. And I was talking to Alex earlier about this. It's not necessarily the music that I go there for. It's almost the experience. You had hyped up this band Jesus Piece so much for me. And when I seen them at the Lookout, it was the craziest crowd I've ever seen. Do they write anything that's just like shredding on guitar? Do they write anything that's technically difficult on the drums? No. Do they fucking kill? Yes. And you watch those Hate 6, what is it, Hate 6?
Hate 5-6 videos.
They kill it.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man. It's just like the messages they're trying to get out to people, and the energy they portray is just insane. It's, you know, they're doing it for the community.
Right.
You know.
If we could only get where they shoot their videos at here.
Yep.
Is that New York?
They do that in Philadelphia.
Philly? Oh yeah, because the guy, I remember the guy, he's wearing a Phillies jersey.
Yep.
Yep, and then Keonashi, they're out of Philly, aren't they?
Philadelphia. Yep.
Yeah, I know the stuff.
There's a lot of bands out of Philadelphia that are really good.
Yeah. Well, name some more. Name drop. Look at the camera. Name drop them. Ooh, I put you on the spot.
Man, you put me right on the spot. Philadelphia bands.
Or any bands that people should look at. Obviously, you like Varials.
Varials. Varials. Sabella.
Yeah. They're in New York, right?
Yep, out of New York. Born Anew. Boundaries. Depreciator.
Victims.
Victims from Illinois.
Victims are... Those guys are sick.
Yeah, we've played a couple shows with those guys. They're pretty good friends of ours. And John did a guest spot in the song Ender for us, too.
Yeah, that part's tight.
And he killed it on that spot. It's
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite guest spots that I've heard to this day.
The first time I heard that, so anytime I hear a new song, I just blare it. I'll get it up to like 36 out of 40 on my car. And then the way the guitar shifts and he comes in, it's just like... I had goosebumps and all my hair was standing up. I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
Like that part just like shook me. And anytime I hear it again, I just remember that, and same thing happens over and over again.
That's the same thing happened to me. I was like, Tyler was like, "Hey, I got the guest spot back," and I was like, "Let me listen to it." So we went out to his car and we were listening to it, and like, I was just in disbelief. I was like, "Whoa, how? What? No way."
So being that it was a guest spot, maybe this is a question for people who don't know. Do you write that part, or do they add that part?
So when we asked John to be on one of our songs, and he said, "Yeah, no problem. Like, I would love to. I'd be honored to." And we left the spot open for him to write his own stuff too. So
that's nice. Well, it's almost like when somebody features on a rap song, like let's just say Little Dicky when he's doing professional rapper. You know the song, right? Snoop Dogg doesn't write like that. You know, Little Dicky wrote that part.
Yep.
Because it's actually like a part of a, it's almost like a little movie that they have going.
Yep.
If you watch a music video, so obviously he had to write to that script.
Yeah. It's
whereas
like you would want to make yourself feel comfortable on a song, rather than having to fit somebody else's style.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that you guys did that, because at that point, if you ask somebody for a feature and you're like, "I want you to say these exact words,"
Yeah.
like, well, you guys are paying for me to say what you want.
Yeah, it's kind of selfish.
Yeah. So how about one of the things I really appreciate about you? You destroy hardcore dancing, 2 steps in the pit, whatever it is. You absolutely destroy, and you're not an intimidating guy.
Oh.
But when I'm on the edge of like the circle, and I'm just like, oh, get me away from Ty. Do you remember your first time like throwing down?
I do remember the first time I threw down. I was at home, and Forrest Catlett from Death Wish was on his way to Iowa City with Cameron Hodge, and he was driving on the interstate going past my town, and he called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?"
You say your town. Where are you at this point?
I was living in Atlantic,
Okay.
Iowa, and I said, "I'm just sitting at home. What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm gonna come pick you up." And I was like, "All right." I figured he lives 45 minutes away. I got some time. I can sit and hang out. And 2 minutes later, he showed up at my door.
He's already close to Atlantic.
And I was like, how are you here so quick? And he's like, "Get in, we're going to a show." So we drove to Iowa City to go see Gideon and Sworn In and man, I can't remember who else was on that show.
But I mean, you got two pretty
So
giant bands at that point.
I seen Gideon and Sworn In, and it was when Sworn In had, it was shortly after they put out the Death Card.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd watched Forrest go out and dance, and Cameron went out and like thrown down, and I was like, all right, that seems kind of cool. And I went out, and I kind of just did my own thing, and I ended up not on purpose, but I knocked a kid out.
I mean, it happens.
And ever since then, I was just like, man, this is kind of fun.
You're like, I get to
doing
knock
this.
people out for free.
Yep. Kind of. But I don't aim to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, it happens at shows. One of the first shows I ever went to was at the Commons, and I took two people who never listened to that type of music. They're like, let's go to a show with you. I'm like, okay. So, of course, there's like Superior and Empire Wants Nothing, all those old bands, right?
Cool. Hell yeah.
Starts up, first song, guy's throwing down, he gets elbowed in the face, bloody nose, gets knocked out. And they're like, does this always happen? And I go, sometimes. It's just, that's a part of, I guess, what happens at shows. You got to know where to stand, you know?
Yep.
If you stand in the front, you might get punched in the back of the head.
Yep. Stay on the side, you might get punched or kicked.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Ty's going to, or freaking Devin's going to do one of those kicks in the side of you. Or, man, there's just, you got to know, you got to be aware, and you got to know where to stand at shows. If you're if you're like on the side of the stage, nothing's gonna happen to you. If you're in the very back, nothing's gonna happen to you. But once you like get close to the circle,
close to the pit,
you're giving consent.
Yep.
You know what's about to go on. Especially if you go to a show like Jesus Piece, like nobody's safe.
Yep. Nobody.
Nobody's safe there.
Nobody's safe.
The guy?
Like a burial show. No one's safe at a burial show.
Nope.
Or purgatory.
Nope.
You know, it's just...
It's dangerous living out here.
Yeah. You just gotta know what the environment is that you're getting into.
Right. One of the, I guess one of the most nerve-wracking things, where I always get nervous, when I always like contemplate, I'm like in my head, I'm like, maybe I should two-step this part, which I don't do often, obviously. But there's one time I've been thrown into the pit, and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do this. Do you ever have like, okay, now I gotta jump in, or do you ever like hold off? Because I've seen you maybe one time where you might have known like a breakdown was ending, and you're like, maybe that's not the best time to do it. It's almost like you have to do your research and know when to get in on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you go to a show to see a band that you've listened to a whole bunch and like enjoy their music, you kind of know when stuff's gonna, like, when the transitions come in and when breakdowns are gonna happen. But then you have to account for the factor that since they play it live, maybe it's a little bit different. Like, they could speed it up or they could slow it down.
Or if they say these words, open this shit up.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, I know something's about to go on. Or if they give you an indicator that something like...
throw out like a nasty mosh call. And like,
or you pull a Forrest Catlett and say, I want to see people bleed.
Yeah.
or somebody needs to die. It's
Yeah.
kind of brutal, but I mean, people are like, I know it's time
They're
now.
like, hey, let's kick it. And
The
get
300 army's coming in. Ow! Ow! Ow!
it. Yep.
They're all knowing. They all know about it. But yeah, the first time I ever got thrown into it, my arms go numb. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's different for you. Like, your first time, was it a feeling of, like, success? You're like, I did it.
Yeah, I was like, that was kind of cool.
It's like a chicken.
I probably look like an idiot, but whatever. And then,
There are such things as, like, good hardcore dancers and very bad hardcore dancers.
yes.
The people who do push pits, can't stand them.
No.
Especially to shows like Omaha shows.
Yeah.
You throw down, you don't do push pits. And usually the people who are pushing around in the pit will get smacked in the back of the head, or they're the ones that get, like, pushed out.
No. It's, I hate in the Omaha scene that there's there's a division between, like, genres of music.
Yeah.
Depending on, like, your style of dancing too. It sucks. Like, the people who push pit don't get along with the hardcore dancers.
Yeah.
Because
Should we put up a wall right down the middle? Separate them. Push pit to the left, throw down to the right.
I don't know. It's just dumb in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be over with. Everybody needs to get along.
You need a handshake and then duel right in the middle.
Yeah.
What were those things where they had the little stadium and you'd pull the little line and they battle? They're not battle bots. They're like
Beyblade.
There you go. That's what needs to
Little
happen.
Beyblade battles, dude.
Beyblade battles, and then that's how you determine who gets to throw down at the next breakdown. Whether you get a push pit or whether you get a throw down.
There you go.
That's only fair.
That works. I'm with it.
I mean, what else can we do?
Yu-Gi-Oh battle.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so you got Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade. What other throwbacks do you want? You gotta play.
Let's get some Pokemon in there.
You gotta play one game of Pokemon. Whoever wins gets the throne.
Yeah. there
Simple
you
as
go.
that.
That's it.
I mean, you can't make it any easier.
No.
Ugh. But yeah, I agree with the whole separation thing. People don't show out for shows that they don't agree with, but they'll say something like, support your local music.
Yeah.
And then you don't see them at shows.
Yeah. There's a lot of people around here like that, and it's irritating to see. You
And
know.
you don't necessarily have to go to shows. Share the people's music.
Yep.
Invite people to be like, hey, this is a band that's playing around here. They're getting some traction. Here it is. One of my favorite things to do, I know it's not always local bands, but one of my favorite things to do on my Facebook, I'll put on my story a band that I like. Because one of my favorite things is finding a band and I have that aha moment and I'm like, I got a good one.
You're like, yo, I like this music. This is cool. I'm glad I found
I'm
it.
actually pissed off at you because I had one of those aha moments and it was a band. Shit. They're called Thornhill. You liked their page before I did. And I was pissed about it because I was driving on the interstate and I go, typed in Thornhill, and it goes, Ty and 11,000 others have liked this page, and I go, I thought it was the only one. And then I talked with Alex, and Alex knows of Thornhill. Like, you bitches.
Yeah, I know a lot of music, man.
Same. And it's like a good feeling when you have, like, the hidden gem, and you're in a car with somebody, and you're like, they're not going to know this one. And you press it, and they're like, who is this? Yep.
You're like,
Yeah, if
yeah,
you-
just listen.
Usually what I do is if I'm sitting with somebody, I'll play it, and then I'll see them nod, and I'll see them go, you like it? And then their first question is always, who is it? Because they have that predetermined, like...
yo, I'm not gonna say I like it, but I want to know who it is, so I
Yeah.
can check it out.
is this Motionless in White? Like, obviously, no, it's not Motionless in White. But I'm saying, like, if you associate an artist with it that they don't like, then obviously they're not going to like it.
Yeah.
And it's not fair because music should be judged on how good it is, not by the artists
genre,
themselves.
Yeah, and the artist. It sucks that it's like that, but
What do you think the solution is to get more people at shows? I guess, luckily you guys and Deathwish, I don't want to say it like this, you guys kind of have control at this point of Omaha. Usually the biggest shows are when you two are associated, and then when it comes to the other genre, Your Last Chance, and then Wither Decay is coming back.
Yep.
Those are kind of like the four peak bands at this point.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of cool because if you could feature, I guess, a smaller Omaha band and get them exposure, and then hopefully they can grow with you guys. Are there any bands that you take on weekend runs or tours from Omaha?
There hasn't been any that we have taken on the road with us yet, but maybe that could be a thing that happen in the near future.
Okay. Who? I don't want to put you on the spot. Don't look. No. Who would you want? Obviously, I mean, you got ties with Death Wish.
Death Wish would be cool. I think Dead Ends from down in Kansas City would be a pretty fun band to go on tour with.
It's too bad. Is Conflict still playing?
They are
They
doing teasers
they're coming
of
back.
them coming back.
Yes.
I've talked to a couple of members, and
Breaking news.
they are in works, maybe. So keep your eyes out.
Conflicts was one of those bands when Superior was giant here. Those two were just like running it.
Yeah.
And I remember going to shows, kind of like when Ironsides was big. When you see an Ironsides, you're like, gotta go.
Yeah.
Right? Superior was that back in 2007, 2008, 2009 with Greg the Hero.
Yep.
Was
with Greg.
another. Bryn Mawr was another. And they're just like, or Bryn Mawr was a song of theirs, but it's just like, I wish we had that more often. More bands that draw people rather than, I'm only going to come out once a month because this one band's playing. And there's some bands that play too many times in a span of 2 months where you're like, oh, I heard these.
The point of going to see them, they're gonna play the same songs. I
Yeah.
heard last week.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
took the words right out of my mouth, and it's like, all right. So hopefully something new develops.
Yeah. That's why we don't play hometown very much, because we don't want to lose the draw that we have right now.
Yeah.
The less you play, the more people are like, "Hey, I haven't seen this band in 6-7 months."
Yeah, you're gonna be more of a
Wanna go
draw.
out and see them, see what new music they're playing.
I guess being a spectator, I'm not in a band, but being a spectator, sitting from outside the fence, if one thing was to change for bands beginning, and I've heard this from promoters as well, don't try to jump on every show.
Yep.
Space them out.
Yep.
Give them a month and a half, because in that month and a half, maybe you can develop a new song, maybe you can practice more, get your set tighter.
Yep.
You could maybe go out of town. There's a lot of different things that you can do in that span of time rather than oversaturating Omaha with
Yep.
the same 4 songs that you played 2 weeks ago.
Yep. There's a band that was doing that, local band out of Lincoln called Gut Punch. They were jumping on, any show that they could get, playing like 6 times a month, and they weren't getting, a whole lot of people coming out to see them. There's maybe the 5-6 same people.
Right.
So I kind of sat them down, talked to them, and said, "Hey, just you guys have been playing the same songs for a couple months, and playing a lot of shows. Like, maybe slow down on the shows, take a little bit of time, write some new music, get your set tighter." And they took my advice. Like, they're in works of writing new music right now.
Good.
So excited to see them play on our CD release show this Saturday.
This Saturday. One of the bands that I keep bringing up Ironsides because in their peak, I hate to say it, they're like the best. Everybody went to go see them, no matter what day it was. It could be a Wednesday night, it could be a Saturday night. And when they broke up the first time, I was devastated because I'm like, you guys are on top right now. You guys are killing Omaha. And the sad thing about it was I don't think they were doing any weekend runs or touring too much.
No.
It was just they were playing Omaha. So they were actually, when they broke up, they had put a new EP onto YouTube, and I listened to that over and over and over and over. And I'm like, I can't get enough of this because if this is the end, I need this.
Yeah.
Because I've already heard the five songs. I've heard Swamp King. I've heard Puppeteer. I've heard all of those. Right. I heard the 5 new songs. I'm like, this is great. And then they quit and they took it off YouTube. And I go, that was it. You guys were around for 5-6 months. You killed it. Well, maybe longer. Let's just say a year. You killed it for a year, and then it just stopped. And it's super depressing. And then when they came back, the hype came back, and Omaha got excited again. They're like, Ironside's is back! Ironside's is back! And people kept showing up shows, and then again.
And they quit again.
When they played Warzone, they were the headliners, and they played the old songs.
Yep.
And that was depressing as a fan. Like, I love all the guys in Ironsides, obviously, but it was just depressing when I hadn't seen them in such a long time. They play Warzone, and they're like, you guys already know this one. We're going to play Swamp King.
Yeah.
And we're going to play Puppeteer. It was such a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer when bands do that, but...
Yeah, it's sad when bands
What do you
break
do?
up. Like Adalia.
Yeah.
I was way late to Adalia, and the way I found out about Adalia was my friend Jeff. I don't know how he acquired the CD of Adalia, because he doesn't listen to them.
Yeah.
I don't know how he acquired it. I ended up getting the CD, and I'd play it in my Mazda, and I'd just play it over and over and over again. And little did I know, they had already broken up. And I'm like,
That's a sad story.
I'm like, but you guys, that's one of the, I would say 3 albums I can listen to front and back. I'm trying to think what it is. It's not their first one, it's the second one, the one with the A on the CD.
I have no idea.
What would you say your like top 3 albums are?
Top 3 albums are right now? Yee.
It's tough when you think about it.
Probably top 1 right now would be Knocked Loose, Different Shade of Blue.
Yeah, because it just came out.
Guilt Trips, River of Lies. And Born Anew's Eternal Isolation album.
See, for you and I think we're in the same genre, maybe different subgenre. You listen to kind of the heavier, I don't know how to explain it, the heavier, more throwdown type of music that's more localized, and at the same time I listen to maybe stuff that's a little bit more singy, has breakdowns. It's just a different type of music. Not to say I don't like what you listen to. I would gladly listen to anything you do. But it's cool that we can, I guess, bond over music that way. And the people who are like, well, that band sucks. I don't like you.
Yeah. That doesn't
Why?
make any sense.
You remember?
Do that.
Do you remember back in like 2012, 2013, when Acacia Strain and Emir, when their fans went at it, and bands like had wars?
Yeah.
Do you know of any other ones? It's like Acacia Strain and Emir back in the day. Those fans didn't get along.
Ruthless.
That's like Taylor Swift and Beyonce now. You're on one side. It's an army.
Yeah.
Acacia Strain or Emir. Emir's music has kind of went, And Acacia Strain, from what I understand, keeps getting better.
Yeah.
You agree?
That's true.
What side were you
true
on?
Statement. I'm on the Acacia Strain
That's
side.
what I figured.
Guaranteed. Every day of the week.
Acacia Strain's gnarly. I don't listen to him too often, but Emir just kind of, I don't know. I used to like Frankie Palmieri, their vocalist, and then once a couple other members left, their guitarist and their drummer left, and then they started their new stuff, and it's just so like electronic and didn't really.
It's really new metal-y.
Yeah, it didn't really trip my trigger, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I can't wait for a new album.
No.
But then they acquired the guitarist from Glass Cloud, who used to play in Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Yeah.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah. I can't.
Tony Danza Tap Dance. Yeah, I messed up. The old music, I almost think that some of the old music is way better than the new music.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Adalia. If you were to listen to Devil Wears Prada, that's another album I can listen to front and back. Roots Above, Branches Below.
Yep.
And I think that was such a pinnacle for a lot of people growing up when we were 16, 17, 18. Devil Wears Prada was kind of the
They were a big staple in that metalcore scene back in the day, the early days.
Yeah, Dead West Prada used to just run it, and then nowadays, if I was to say nowadays who's like on top that everybody knows about, Knocked Loose is obviously one of them. Just because they put on a crazy show. I get some hate, and I understand why. I'm not a huge fan of them. Do I listen to the music? Yes. Am I die hard about it? Where I'm saying to myself, give me more music. I want to go to the shows. I want to buy their merch. No.
Yeah.
Have I been to a shit ton of their shows? Yeah. Do they kill it every time? Absolutely. There's no other crowd like a Knocked Loose crowd.
Yeah.
And when they played at Slow Down. No, they didn't play at Slow Down. Oh, when they played... Shit, I wish I knew when they played. It was Sokol, upstairs.
Yep.
Who they play with? Do you remember the show?
That was the Heartland Throwdown tour.
Yeah.
It was two tours that got combined here in Omaha.
Yeah. Yeah, one upstairs and one downstairs.
Yep, it was like the Acacia Strain.
Downstairs.
And, Terror.
Uh-huh.
Knocked Loose, Hatebreed, Year of the Knife. There's a lot of
I wonder
cool
how
bands
often
on
that happens, where two bands kind of meet in the middle, you know? Because obviously bands tour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that probably run into each other on the road, you know?
Oh yeah, that's all the time that happens.
Really?
All
Have
the
you
time.
experienced that?
We have not yet.
Because you guys do weekend runs now.
Yep.
So I guess it'd be kind of harder compared to somebody like Earth Groans who's on the road
Constantly on
300
tour.
days a year.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough gig, and I can appreciate their grind.
Yeah, they're always grinding out here.
And from what I understand, Jeremy obviously still lives in South Dakota because he has a studio, All Poetic Studios. Plug. He does that, and then their drummer lives down here in Omaha,
Yep.
and then their guitarist and bassist live in Nashville, is what Alex was telling me.
Yep.
And the cool thing about that is you've got 3 places to stay on the road.
Yep.
Not saying that's the reason why they wanted to do it, but it is of benefit to them, you know?
Yep.
Because if they want to go to Montana, I keep saying Montana, if they want to go to Montana, they can stay up in South Dakota and drive west. If they want to go to Texas, meet in Omaha, drive down. If they want to go to Florida,
Meet in Nashville.
meet in Nashville. So it's great how they spaced it out, whether it was intentional or not. Who knows?
Yep.
But those guys grind it out. And I'm glad, because they got put on Solid State this year or last year. It would have been last
It
year.
was last year.
Yeah. And the amount of shows they play in, the amount of bands they get to interact with is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
What's one band you're trying to... Okay, I'll ask you 2 questions. If you could feature for any band right now, who would you want to feature for?
Jeez. Oh, put me right on the spot like that.
Gots to.
Oh, if I could do one feature for a band. I think I'd want to do a feature for Judiciary.
Judiciary.
Yep.
Out of all bands.
Yep.
Not even in your top 3 top albums.
No.
You just vibe with them. That's great. Yeah, I don't even know. Obviously, I don't do vocals. If I was ever feature for a band. You like Crystal Lake?
I've heard of a couple of their stuff. I just haven't really got into them, like to dig them out a whole bunch. So.
Crystal Lake is the best show I've ever seen live.
Really?
Yeah. So they're from Japan. I don't know if you knew that.
Yep.
They've been doing it since 2002, 2003. And they absolutely destroy. For some reason, Japanese drummers absolutely just kill everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I was watching another Japanese band, and now I forget their name again. I was watching another Japanese band, their live shows, and they just wail on everything. But the way they started out their show, this is when they were playing with Miss May I. This is in Lincoln. They played with Miss May I. Beartooth? I don't know. I went there for Crystal Lake. because I love Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I went there and they started out with like a 3.5 minute drum solo.
Really?
And this guy's kicks, he's been doing it, I'm sure, for 20 years. I mean, if he's been playing professionally for 15, he's probably been playing drums for 20 years or so. How evenly spaced everything was and how tight everything sounded and how their sound was mixed down to the last detail. Crowd interaction, how they got everything going. Beautiful. If every band could be like Crystal Lake, not saying every band will be or strives to be.
Yeah.
If every band could get a band going like Crystal Lake does, we'd all be happy.
Yeah.
We'd be a happier place.
Maybe.
What crowd is the craziest crowd for you? Say Knock Boost has got to be up there. Jesus Piece probably knocked out your top 2.
Let's see.
There's another band I can think of from the north. They're called Roads of Glass.
Oh yeah, I went on a road trip one time to go see them play in a bike shop
In a bike shop?
up in Minnesota.
Isn't that where they're from, Minnesota?
Yep.
That's what I thought. That used to be another band out of... I mean, there's probably a ton of bands, but I can't think of what they're called. Out of Minnesota that I really liked. But yeah, crowds. What about... I'm going to completely switch it up on you. Do you still skate?
I sure do.
Who's your favorite right now?
Ooh, favorite skater right now.
If you say Shane O'Neill, I'm going to kick you in the nuts.
Man. Favorite skater right now. I can't even think of his name.
What's he do?
He
He skates?
skates for Etnies.
Johnny Geiger.
No.
I love Johnny Geiger. Alex Rudemaker.
No.
I don't know if he even skates for Etnies. Man, you're drawing blanks on everything.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I got him saved on my Instagram. But
Could you imagine being a professional skateboarder? Some of the stuff they do,
yeah,
jumping down 14 sets, 20 sets.
yeah. I don't know. That'd be a crazy profession.
How do they get paid?
They get paid off like video sales.
Oh, okay. Because back in
Video
90s
sales and then like shoe sales.
okay. So
Board
back in the
sales.
90s and 2000s, that was big. Getting the
Yeah.
videos and getting clips
Yep.
was big. And you don't... Maybe it's just YouTube being broadened and a lot of stuff on it. But you don't see that too much more often where you see actual parts.
Yeah.
Unless... I mean, Nigel Houston put one out last year or 2 years ago. And you actually got to see him when he does fail, which I appreciated.
Yep.
Because all that you ever see in skate videos is them landing the tricks. But you see Nigel Houston fall backwards, hit his head, get concussed, get back up. The blood, sweat, and tears that actually go into something like that maybe the mainstream person doesn't get to see, you know?
Yep.
And the fact that guy's sponsored by Nike is a pretty big deal, too.
Yeah. It's just all about how you want to put the video together, you know, and how you want to portray the sport itself.
Yeah.
Because not everything's all flashy, you know.
Yeah. One of the... I guess I brought up Alex Rudemaker. That guy's insane. So Johnny Geiger is one of his friends, and he's from a little tiny country called Liechtenstein. And Alex Rudemaker is from Sweden, but he'll just do some incredibly crazy tricks. And I always thought Johnny Geiger was the man. And then you watch Alex Rudemaker, and you're like, this guy's on a totally different level.
Yeah.
And I don't look like I watch skateboarding, but I'm a YouTube fiend. So you put me to anything that'll get me addicted, I'll watch it.
You ever watched Manolo Robles?
Uh-uh.
You should check him out. He's a Brazilian skater.
Brazilian skater?
Yeah. He's really good.
Manolo Robles? Is it Manuelo Robles? Manolo Robles is how you say it?
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder how much tickets to Battle at the Barracks cost. What do you think?
Probably decent.
Yeah?
amount.
Well, here's the funny thing. So, I think when we first got a look at Steve Barra, who's the guy who runs the barracks. Am I wrong about that?
Nope.
Okay, so the first time I ever heard of him was through Rob and Big, Rob's Fantasy Factory, because they play skate against each other, and then Steve tells Rob to do a laser flip off the little pyramid looking thing, and he lands it, and that's the first time I ever heard of him. And I don't know if they were doing the barracks at that time, but ever since then I've known like what the Battle of the Barracks were.
Yeah.
And that would be insane to get into those. Because they pull people from Brazil, but I mean they live in LA, so it might be a little bit easier, you know. It'd be a crazy place to have.
Yeah, it'd be a cool place to have.
Do you ever watch those skate? Basically, they'll roll some dice and they'll wager money. Skater dice.
Yes, sir. I watch that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, those little clips are crazy.
Gambling.
It's a fun way to interpret, I guess, skateboarding rather than doing the same thing. You're like, okay, the pressure's on here. It's only for $7.
Yeah.
But you don't want to lose $7 on a backside like 180.
Yeah.
Because some of the times they just get super easy tricks. Kickflip. Half these people could do it in their sleep, you know?
And you mess it up and you lose money.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Or when they're playing skate, like the final night. The last one that I watched was Seva, and it might have been Shane O'Neill. Maybe I'm wrong about this. And one of the coolest things as far as sportsmanship goes is Seva, he did some trick, and they counted it originally, and he said that his toe had touched, which if you don't watch Battle at the Barracks, if your toe touches, it's a redo. And then he goes on to miss the trick, and then he ends up losing because of it.
Yep.
But he lost because he was a sportsman.
Yep. It's all about sportsmanship and skating, too.
It's a good way to lose.
Yep.
And I mean, skateboarding, I think skateboarding and I guess the music we listen to have a lot in common. You go to the skate park to hang out with your friends. You have a lot in common. You want to see each other do better. As far as Omaha music goes, you go there, you hang out, you communicate. This is what I got going on. Support me.
Yep.
You don't necessarily say support me, but it's like
kind of like, hey man, if you like our music, you know, we got these shows coming up. You can come check it out. We'll have merch. You want to buy a T-shirt? You know.
Have you designed any of your own merch?
I have not.
No? Who
Nope.
designs it?
Tyler usually does the mock-ups, but I'm gonna start putting more of my input on the mock-ups.
See, a long time ago, I used to. Little known fact, I knew this guy named Travis Hines. He used to play indoor football, and I used to be an intern for that indoor football team. And I used to design shirts and stuff with him, and he had a little, like a heat press. So you put the sticker onto the shirt and press it down, and we would sell those. So I wouldn't say I'm very familiar with it, but I know how some of the stuff's made. And then you have screen printing, right, where you put the colors on.
Yep.
Which one would you prefer?
We do the screen printing.
Yeah. Do you do it here locally?
We go through Relentless T-shirts or Relentless merch over in Lincoln.
Okay. So they cut you a deal?
Yeah, they cut us a pretty good deal, I think.
Depending on how much you order.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of how it goes with everything, right?
Yep.
That's good to know people. That's what Alex kept saying. It's not about, what do you say?
It's not about how many people you know. It's about who you know.
It's about who you know. There you go. And he's right about that. Having connections in the music scene, especially if you want to go out of town.
Yep. It's crucial. You know, if you don't have connects to other promoters and other venues out of state, you don't have a shot really out of state.
So, I guess I have a question here. Alex was talking to me about the band's Black Book, so they know promoters that other people may not know. So when the original vocalist of Downhearted left, was he the one trying to book the shows, or was it somebody else in the band who was doing so? Do you know?
Tyler's the one that does the booking.
Okay, he's the head honcho, it sounds like.
Yep.
Okay.
Tyler's head honcho.
Okay, so that didn't really affect the band in booking-wise then?
No. Nope.
All right. Because I can only imagine having those connections, and then one person leaves, and then bye-bye.
All the connections are gone, yeah.
Then you have to restart.
Yep. Yeah, JR didn't really have a whole lot of connections with other venues and stuff. when I joined, I know a lot of venues, a whole bunch of promoters around the whole United States, so I helped out the band with more promotion.
So were there any hard feelings associated with, you said his name's JR?
Yep.
Any former vocalist of Eastwood?
Yep.
Were there any hard feelings associated with him when you took over the band, or since you guys knew each other previously, it wasn't too bad? You know what I mean?
I personally don't think there's any hard feelings, but if there would be any hard feelings, it would probably be on his end.
Mm-hmm. Because I would almost like it, you know. I hate to reference it this way. It's like you having a kid.
Yeah.
And then you guys break up, and then one of your friends steps in, but
Yeah.
you know that guy's a good friend, right? The band's kind of your baby. That guy breaks up with the band, and then some other nice stepdad comes in.
Yeah. Funny
Right?
stepdad. Yeah.
You would almost hope that it gets in the hands of somebody you know, or somebody that you know has
Somebody
the best
that's gonna
intentions.
Make it better, you know.
Yeah.
Make it work.
You wouldn't want because these band members that you've been with, well, heck, he was in Eastwood with Nick,
Yep.
the guitarist. He was with them for quite a while, so I can only imagine if they brought somebody in, some Joe Schmo who they didn't like,
Yeah.
or it's like his ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, just to get at him, you know?
Yeah.
That would have been the absolute worst. So I'm kind of happy it worked out the way it did with you.
Yeah.
And being that I'm not trying to humble brag for you, you're a notable figure in Omaha. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you. I'm sure you have thousands of Facebook friends.
I don't know.
I'm not
We'll
counting
see.
3,103. I'm not counting.
I'm not counting either.
But it's almost good in that aspect because you've got 2,000 more people to outreach to
Yeah.
who may not have been friends with Nick or friends with Tyler. Or tell me your other bandmates' names.
Trevor and Jordan.
Jordan is?
Jordan is the lead guitarist,
Uh-huh.
and Trevor is the bass player.
Who's the one who just left after Warzone?
Bronson.
Bronson? And what happened with him, if you don't mind me asking?
He was. It's not that he wanted to quit the band. He just didn't want to do touring,
Okay.
so he decided to step down from being a musician in Downhearted.
Gotcha. So, I was going to ask Alex this. How hard is it? Well, this is right after you had been considered as the front man,
Yep.
and then you have a person leave. Is that kind of like, shit, was it my fault? Did you ever feel like, obviously he...
Oh, no. So when I joined, I knew that Bronson was
Taken off.
taken off.
Gotcha.
And we had already had plans to do member switch, and we had a new member coming in. So
Gotcha.
we got to practice with all the band member switches and new member additions.
So did you guys switch people's position in the band, or did you bring somebody in and practice with them?
Jordan went from playing on bass to playing guitar,
Aha.
and Trevor came in as a guitar player to play bass.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I guess he kind of has to learn a whole new instrument and different, I guess,
Yep.
bass lines.
Yep. Trevor never played bass before joining Downhearted.
Damn.
He played guitar in a couple bands
Interesting.
in the old, like 2011, 2012.
When you were talking about Bronson, there's actually a pretty notable band, Periphery. I'm sure you know of them.
Yep.
I think the guy's name's Nolly. He lives in England, and the rest of the guys live in the U.S. And he decided he would still write for the band and record with them and actually produce them. He has his own studio at home.
Yeah.
So he would just write the bass lines and produce them. And then the band would go on tour and just use his backtrack. Because they don't want to replace the guy who's an original member. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you look back at Periphery, Misha, one of the guitarists now, the tan dude,
Yep.
he used to play drums. Matt Halpern was never in that band. And Spencer Sotelo was never in that band. So it's
Yeah.
interesting how a band like that developed when you had a guitarist playing drums and then the singer never being in the band, and then they just work their way up.
Everything just kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else I was going to bring up to you? I always thought when I was growing up, bass is useless. Did you think the same thing?
You know, I did too. There would be a couple times where Trevor couldn't make it to practice, and it would be, we'd play, and it would sound, it was like, it sounded empty.
Yeah, no low end.
And then when he would come, it would like
power.
Different.
Yeah.
Way different sound.
I didn't start to recognize that until... Okay, so Jeff is a good reference. Jeff's been playing music, and he knows what like recorded music sounds like good and what it sounds like bad. So I pick his brain a lot. And when I hear bad recording, I mean, there's local stuff that's not great, or there's bands that are touring bands that just recorded not so well because maybe they don't have enough low end, and maybe they could mix it better. But the bass just adds so much punch. And now, in your type of music, the type of music you listen to, when it's just hi-hat and bass,
yeah,
doom, 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 doom.
Yeah,
it's just so low.
That bass,
Ooh.
when that bass line hits, it's a different feeling. Like,
Yeah.
you feel it.
Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah.
what's about to go on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to think bass is, fuck it, we don't need it.
Yep.
But now I appreciate it. So that even makes it even more better that your guitarist went to bass, not even knowing how to play bass.
Yep.
And people think that's a smooth transition. You go from 6 strings to 4 strings, different chords you have to play to match what you're playing your guitar.
Yep.
I might be talking out of my ass here because I don't play guitar, I don't play bass, but I would imagine it's not going to be easy to learn.
Yeah. Different scales, different length of the fretboard, you know.
Ethan Weigman, he always had the coolest bass to me.
Yep.
When he had that long neck, the wooden one. Oh my god, that thing was a beauty.
Yep. And
then you see like these like rock guitarists, they'll play these little short ones.
Yeah.
With a long ass fucking bass. Ooh, I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah, long neck basses are really cool. Trevor plays he's got a baritone 30-inch Thunderbird. So
I mean, just that name, like, you would think this has got to be good. Baritone, 30-inch Thunderbird.
Yeah, it's nasty.
You're just checking, just sound checking. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
And you can just feel the rattling in the PA. Ooh, gives me goosebumps. But yeah, I love bass now. And I thought about it before I bought my drum set, which I just got the electronic Roland drum set. I thought about buying a bass, but I had tried learning guitar, but not wholeheartedly, you know?
Yep.
I could tell that it's not the instrument for me.
Yep.
My brother had tried it, played it for like a month, got rid of it. It was sitting up on in our basement. We had this like little ledge, and we sat it up there for about a month. I went to go play it, didn't like it.
Yeah.
But drums, since I've been around drums since I was 15, that's what's, I guess, stuck with me, and that's what makes me appreciate what Mr. Tyler Lewis is doing.
Yeah.
He destroys. Absolutely destroys. How old is he?
Tyler is, I think he's like 28 or 29.
20 or 29?
30, I think. Something like that. A little bit older than I am.
He's probably one of my favorite drummers around here. Alex is, I'm biased.
Yeah.
Alex is great. I can somewhat play along to his stuff, but when I hear Tyler's stuff, I guess anytime I hear drums, I try to process it in my head as I'm hearing it. When you guys are playing Ender, there's a couple of parts where it's like doom da doom da doom in the middle of the I don't know, the first verse. I'm like, that's so creative.
Yeah, I don't know, the way that he plays is just, it's unique.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people that comment on it and say that they love the way that he plays because no one else plays the way that he does.
Yeah. That's what makes me appreciate him. So if you're watching this, you're welcome. I love your drumming. A couple of other things I want to get to you about. When you first started doing vocals, so you probably started 14, 15, 16, somewhere around that age?
Yeah.
Okay. So at that point you had a car? Or did you do it in your room, a closet?
So when I did it in my room. I was living at my sister's house in her basement, and I would listen to like, bands like I was talking about earlier, like Suicide Silence, Joffrey Cowboy, Whitechapel, just like really heavy, like guttural-y stuff and like high screams, and I would try to mimic that the best I could, and that's what got me into doing vocals.
Right. I remember Sebastian, my brother. Obviously, you know him.
Yep.
Maybe some other people don't. We were in this apartment across from Kern and Council Bluffs. Mind you, we're on the bottom floor, so 2 other floors above us. He bought this mic, and we set it up in the closet, right? Because it's the quietest thing. You have all the clothes to kind of deaden the sound around it, and we would have people over, and you'd close the door as if it were a recording studio. And it's so awkward listening to somebody record without music because you just hear people screaming.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder what the people upstairs were thinking or the people next door were thinking.
They're like, what's going on?
What is this?
Yeah.
And then he goes, he'd come out and we'd start laughing at him. And he goes, oh, you think it's so funny? Why don't you go try it? So I can remember trying to scream to Memphis Mayfire, The Sinner.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And Jared Dines is one person who's really exposed that. Like, the people who say, oh, screaming, it doesn't take much talent. And then you play something like Phil Bozeman. I know we said him earlier. You play some of his, like, gutturals.
Yeah.
Go for it. Try it out.
Yeah, they're hard.
Those people who've been doing it for 10, 15 years still can't do it.
Yeah.
Or if you look at the guy from Awaken Providence. His pig squeals.
Yeah.
Nasty. Alex Terrible. I can't think of what band.
Slaughter to Prevail.
There you go. Copy him.
Yeah, he's a vocal powerhouse.
He's the scariest dude I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's a monster.
There's this video. It's like a 45-second video. I'm sure everybody who's ever heard of this guy has watched it. From A Slaughter to Prevail. It's him. He's shirtless.
Yeah,
you see his
right in front of his computer screen.
Yeah, you see his neck tattoo.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll see how long I could do this for. And he's got his big ass tattoo. The music kicks in, and he's holding it, and then it, like, as long as the video goes, you just see him flexing more and more just to push it out, and his shoulders, like his traps, he's just squeezing so hard. And then if you show that to somebody who doesn't appreciate it, they're like, I don't get it.
Yeah, they're like, what is he doing? It's like, man,
you don't understand. It's like you just want to just choke him out.
It's like, you try and do that.
Yeah, you just get it already. Just get it.
Yeah.
But I would say screaming or playing music is just like anything else. It takes a ton of practice. It takes a lot
Tons.
It takes tons and tons of practice to get good at, which I'm sure everybody here knows.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing vocals for 11 years.
11?
11 years.
What are you, 27?
25. I'll be 26 in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah. I keep having, actually I just had this video pop up on my birthday because you came to my birthday party down at Broadway Bar like 2 years ago, and I go, I had the video on Ty. I go, what's your name? And he goes, Ty. And I go, what's your favorite band? Or something like that. He goes, Knocked Loose. And I'm like, who you about to see? He's like, Knocked Loose at the end of the month. And he's so excited.
Yeah.
Or there's that video of us at Hounds. It's me, you, Dylan Jensen, and Anna. And the song Gas Pedal is coming on. And you're throwing down the song Gas Pedal.
Yeah.
If I could make that like my backdrop for my phone, just constantly playing all day. It's like one of my favorite videos of all time.
Heck yeah.
What's like, okay, if you were to give anybody watching right now a YouTube video, a band, or anything that you would want to recommend to them, what would you tell them to do? How about we start YouTube video? What should they search?
YouTube video?
It could be anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be a band or a band.
Search the Hate 5-6 channel and watch every single video on there.
Okay.
Every single one.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
That's a pretty good
Shameless
plug,
plug.
though. That's pretty good
You
plug,
won't
though.
find one video that you won't like. Promise you that.
Those videos are nasty. Keonashi. Is that how you say it? Keonashi?
Keonashi, yep.
See, when I was first exposed to... Sorry, keep trailing on. When I was first exposed to Keonashi, Dustin Belt has showed me Nanashi.
Yep.
What are the chances that those bands both have like that similar of names? You have Keonashi and Nanashi. Or do they know each other, you think?
No.
No?
They know that they're bands.
Right.
But it's different meaning names, you know.
Does it come from anime or anything? What is Keonashi?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to ask Peter.
Honestly.
I don't know him personally. Maybe you can ask Peter.
Maybe.
This is what I want you to do. The next time you come on to this podcast, I want to know the answer as to why Keonashi is named Keonashi.
Alright.
Deal.
We'll
end it here. See you guys. Dunzo.
Dunzo.